start telling you some stuff about FTP server, why we need to have FTP server. FTP server is a file transfer protocol. It is relatively old and most standard network protocol used to upload and download the files between two servers or two computers over the network. Okay. Basically, whenever you download some stuff from internet, it is mostly located on FTP server. FTP server is, however, FTP server is basically like original insecure, but it transmits data with user credentials and without encryption. Okay. FTP server is basically the connection where your data is not encrypted. If you want to encrypt your data, you use SFTP. Okay. So nowadays people use SFTP. The package that is used to install FTP server is VSTPD. Okay. The package name is V for Volvo, S for Sam, F for Fat, and T for Tiger, and P for Paul, and D for Dog. Okay, so that is called SFTPD. So let me log in. So first step to make sure the service is basically we have to make sure that our system is having VSFTPD package installed on it, and after that I'm going to this weird thing. It's connecting. It's not connected. Anyways, I'll try. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's connected now. So let me find out the IP address first. So IP address for this is 192.168.4.130. So now I'm coming back to what you have to make sure that your package is installed. You have to first see RPM-QA VSFTPD. Okay, so my FTPD package is installed. So after that, I'm going to systemctl start VSFTPD. Okay, my system service is started. Now I have to enable this service on this particular run level as well. So I'll type enable and VSFTPD, which means that by default, whenever your server boots up, by default this server will turn on automatically. Okay, this is the command we use for Red Hat 7. If you are doing the same stuff on Red Hat 6, you will type service vsftpd start. Okay, and if you are talking about making sure that this service comes up automatically whenever the server boots up, you're gonna type level 35 vsftpd on. So it is forwarding to basically, if you see the comment in there, systemctl enable, basically it's forwarding the request to this service. So in the backend is doing the same thing. After that, there is a firewall issue now. If we have a firewall enabled, we'll have to open uh, we'll have to open firewall for port 20 and 21. Okay, FTP protocol uses the port 20 and port 21 that allows the remote machines to connect to the server. So we'll type UFW allow 20/TCP. Oh, sorry, TCP. Or we can do firewall permanent, and I think there was a space in there. Let me remember it. I think the command was firewall cmd hyphen permanent hyphen hyphen add port equal 21/TCP. Okay, in the same way, I'm going to open the firewall 20. So now we have success on both of them. Next step to this is we are going to configure the FTP service. Okay, so in order to do that, we will go to vi slash.
Like, you,
What happened? Hello? Hello?
uh, do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I think there's a lag, but besides that, I was saying, since you added 20 and 21, but is that for Red Hat 7 only, where you
No,
do
both,
that,
both,
or
both.
both?
Okay, so for Red Hat 6, I mean, you are not gonna have problems with within the exam because you will be doing everything according to Red Hat 7 because you'll be taking the exam on Red Hat 7. But if you really want to know the Red Hat 6, I will go to that as well. Okay.
No, I was just saying, what we need to know for the exam. So, can you
This
just
is this is
highlight?
this is for the exam. Like you'll have to make sure that your ports are added to the firewalls because if they're not added,
Is it
you'll have problem.
is it always going to be 20 and 21, or we have to look
Yes,
that up?
by default, FTP uses 20 and 21.
So, and I just want to, sorry, I just want to review everything real quick before you go on. So, first thing you did was you started the VS FTPD, right? And
Yes.
in
First, I installed. First, I installed the server, which is package, which is VSFTPD package. Then I started the service. Then I enabled the service so that it runs on whenever the server boots up. Then
right,
after that, I allowed that service to work through the firewall if there's any firewall. Then I am going to configure the configuration file of VSFTPD about different stuff. Okay,
Gotcha.
so
So wait, so you know how when you made like a small error and it said command not found, is there a manual for that? So
oh
what if I
yeah,
forget during the exam?
well during the exam they don't have the man pages.
Oh really? Oh
Yeah,
wow.
you will not be getting any help anywhere.
That's crazy. Okay.
Okay, and that's why I
Yeah.
said practice is your key.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm,
if you do practice, if you have configured like 30 times this VSFTPD server, it's gonna be a
yeah.
piece of cake for you in the exam.
Right, right.
So VI slash,
So to
go ahead.
down one last question. To download the packages, is that like I want to know, is that going to be automatic? Because I remember one of the classes you showed us, we have to use like an email and to enable even
Yes,
packages
for
to download.
example, so let's go back to that class. For example, there is a package that you need to install. Whenever you are inside Red Hat Exam Center, they're gonna give you a login and password that is gonna be used to register your server with Red Hat RHCSM, Red Hat Server Manager. Okay, you have to do all that repository setup work. You have to basically enable the packages, download, and all that kind of crap. Then after that, you are gonna come to this part and say yum install. Okay,
Okay.
basically you are gonna have to deal with that thing. It's not gonna be automatically installing because that's what their point is. They're gonna see how much you know and what's your approach to it.
So obviously this FTP server would be after we get down, like there'd be an order, right? Like
Oh
everything
yeah,
they test us on, like
yep, that's gonna be an order. So this is my configuration file that I need to edit. Okay, basically anonymous enable. It means that if a person is anonymous to the FTP server, like no username and password, it's gonna be yes enabled for now. Or you can disable it as well. Local enable means permit local logins, which is yes. Write enable, yes. Local UMask is 022, which is just listed right there. This UMask class is really important. You guys need to take care of that. Okay, because half of the questions are going to be from there. Then after that, uh, basically there are different other settings which you do not need to take care of because in the Red Hat exam they're not going to ask you. For example, connect from port 20. So there it says yes, so you have to make sure that it is done as yes in there. And yeah, that'll be all. Okay. So after that, you quit that file, and uh, whenever you edit some configuration in the configuration file, make sure that you restart the service. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. Okay. Are you
so what
there?
was the main two things you changed?
I did
Real
not
quick.
change anything. I did not change.
Yeah, there's a little bit of lag, but what was the thing? Oh, oh, okay, okay.
I just went through what are the options in there.
There's no lag in your voice, but there's a lag on the screen sometimes when you go through the. Maybe
Hmm.
it's just for me. I don't know.
I
That's
don't know.
weird. Happened to me. Happened to me a little bit.
Okay, so now, for example, you want to add a particular user that can use FTP server. Is that 100% on time now? My voice is not lagging, right? Oh, I understand why there was a lag.
But that's mine.
Uh,
Damn, I'm
Oh,
not
how
it's yours
getting
as well.
how
that.
Okay,
how's it now?
it's good. It's really good.
Okay, I was connected to the wrong internet connection. I was still connected to my Top floor.
Uh,
I'm in basement, so in basement I do have a router. I don't know why it did not automatically switch. But anyways,
okay, so can you read the last 30 seconds then? What you just did
yeah,
in the files and
I'm
after?
going to go back to that file. Okay. So there are different settings in each configuration files, as you know that. Okay. So for example, anonymous enable is basically most of people say no. So that disable anonymous logins, like if basically a person who does not have any login in the system, he can log in too. So for example, anonymous login is yes at the moment. Then after that, SC Linux is local enable is basically whatever the local users are, they can log into the server. That's yes. Write enable yes. Local UMask is 022. You might be asked to change the settings for that, like you change the UMask to 0234 or something like that. And then after that, you know, these are pretty much the settings you need to take care of. Then you also need to allow and deny the users who can access the FTP server. Okay, you basically escape out of this file. Then there is a configuration file. Where is that? Okay. Basically, the user list. Okay, very important. User underscore sorry VSFTPD and user list. So right now, only these people are. Here's what it says. If user list deny no only allows the users in this file. If the user list says yes, default never allows these users in this file. Okay, and do not prompt for the password also. So these are the users who can basically access your system FTP server. Now, if I go to FTP users, these are the basically users who are not allowed to log in via FTP. But with root user, you can always log in. Okay, root. But we have also enabled the local login. It is yes, so we can log in. Root is our local login. So this was like the list. So they might give you a list that can you please allow or disallow this user. Okay. So one important more thing that FTP server users can log into servers when the users log into FTP server, they are placed into a kind of uh, jail, which means that they log into the local root directory. They do not log into any other directory. Okay, and you can basically restrict and basically those users. Okay, but we are not going to go into that advanced configuration. So if you want to add a user you want to use an FTP server, so you will type, for example, user add -m -c. The comment is gonna be basically, for example, uh, Asif Mehdi. This is a standard user adding command. Okay, then -s is basically the shell, which is going to be available to me is bin/bash, and the username is gonna be Mehdi. Okay.
this is going to add it to the which is not FTP users because that's the one that are not allowed. It's going to add it to user list.
Yeah, user list is gonna be no. It's gonna add a standard user like you added in previous classes. Password Mehdi. This is until this point it's a standard user. Okay.
Then what was the stuff on the user list? You don't edit the user list file?
I'll do it later on. Here's what I'm going to do right now in this command. Echo Mehdi, this is what I'm doing in the user list command now. User list, I mean file. Okay. So this command is going to add your user to the user list. Okay. If I do cat, you could go and do vi as well, but this is like without opening the file I did it. Okay. So cat
Uh,
vsft PD. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do is easier for you. You can see Mehdi is on the last. Okay. So after that, uh, now I'm going to test my configurations. Okay. So let's do FTP 192.168. I can do two things. Uh, I can test uh, from another server, or I can test it from the client server as well. Okay. So for example, 192.168.56.10, sorry, was IP address .4.130. Okay. This is my master server. So VSFTP, I think is this.
FTP is file transfer protocol, right?
SFTP is secure file transfer protocol.
Transfer protocol.
Yes. So I'm going to say yes. Now I am inside my FTP server. It's basically adding that IP address to the known host list. It's copied the fingerprint. It's asking for my username, password. Okay, now I am in the FTP server. So there are different commands in FTP server, but this right now I am in the FTP server. Let's go to the client server. Like let's go into another server, try to upload any files from there. Okay.
So the FTP server you created, I just want to know like where it is. Is it? I know it's a confusing question I'm
It is
asking.
on
Like,
this. It is on this server.
it's
FTP
basic. Is it basically? Is it you creating like a bridge to with another server, or it's like I want to know
basically
like what?
basically I'll give you a nutshell example what's going on. Okay, hold on.
Like if you could draw a picture, that would help. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm doing. So for example, this is your server, Linux server, and you configured FTP server on it. Okay, so you are using this Linux server as an FTP server. Okay, the directory which is going to be used for FTP server is /root. Okay, so if a user, for example, connects from a remote server to this server, like they type the command from their portal, sftp, sftp, for example, this server IP address is 192.168.4.130.
Or yeah.
Okay, so I type the command sftp 192.168.4.130. Okay, it will ask for my username password. I'll give that username and password. Then after that, what happens is uh, you basically are logged in into the root. You are basically connected, and you are in the /root directory. Then there are different FTP server commands like upload and download. Okay, upload, download. Like for example, if you want to download something, you basically type upload this and this. If you want to upload something, you basically type download. Okay, so there are different, commands to work on FTP server. You would not necessarily be asked to do anything, but you can also type binary commands that are located in FTP, like your regular Unix server or Linux server, into FTP server as well. So now, if this picture is clear, I will go to this remote server and I'll try to FTP into that server. Okay.
Well, you just logged in as your client for like what reason? You know how you just logged into the terminal? You just
So
logged in for fun?
basically, no, I logged in from client to the server. For example, I want to download certain files on my server. Okay. So I basically logged in from this server to the master server to download those files. For example, they are
No,
like, go ahead.
not this one. You know how you just logged in at the IPA server? You know the IPA
Yeah,
server right here.
that was just to
You
show
logged
you
in
that was just for showing you that how you log into a
that it
FTP
works.
server. Yeah, it
So
works.
when you create the FTP server, it just you have access to the other server's hard drive, or it's more like it's more
Yeah,
deep than that.
you have access to other servers slash root directory where all the stuff is there. For example, I type vsftpd slash 192.168.
You need the
Sorry,
V, or I thought you just said it's okay. Yeah.
sftpd. My mistake.
Okay.
So 130. Uh, I have to see now if my FTP service is running or not. Service ft sftp vsftpd status. Okay, it's running. SFTPD. It did not work. Command not found. How is it possible?
The command the command you just typed.
Oh,
What
STF.
does that do?
My bad. My bad. It's SFTP. So now it's trying to connect to my master server. It says SSH exchange and connection closed from remote host because couldn't read the packet. Reset by the peer. Okay, let me see something. It says okay. It should be able to connect. Hold on. If it does not, I'll turn off the firewall just to show you how it connects. There, I think they have firewall running in them. I think there is something going on. Okay, I'm going to system, CDL, stop, firewall, service. Let me ping that server first. Ping 192.168.4.130. Okay, there is no ping connection going on right now. Unreachable. Why is that so? Let's see. That's why. Okay, so I should have some IP address. I have config-a, which should give me the IP address this. Let me edit this setting. I don't know what's going on in there. Oh, there you go. Automatic apply. And I'm going to delete this. Oh, why did it get that IP address in there? That's a really different IP address. It's not gonna be reachable then.
All the stuff you're doing now, we don't have to know too much of, right?
I mean, it's network settings, so technically yes, you do. If you have to troubleshoot, you are gonna have to do it.
Then you're gonna have to show us those like a little slower.
Okay, so ifconfig-a. My IP address for this server is now 192.168.86.76. Now I'm going to connect from this server now. Okay, now there's a ping in there. Okay, so now I'm going to SFTP. It's basic troubleshooting I did, nothing big. So now you can see that the connection is about to establish. It's asking the root password. Now I am in there. ls these other files and directories. Now let's go to this server, cd to /root, and touch important docs. There's no space. There's not so space. So now come here, ls. You can see that there is an important docs file in there. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
So now if I
Yep.
want to download that file, I can download that file. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Are you typing something? It's lagging. Or
No, I was
uh,
making my notes as well, but I
okay.
have updated my some of the stuff in there. So if I want to download some stuff from FTP server, we are going to type this command now. Hold on. We're going to type uh, get important docs. So now you saw that important docs is right here. If you, for example, make a file on the, for example, home page on your upload, sorry, put on, for example, let me make a folder. Let me rename it. Okay, put sn. Okay, put -f, I think so. Let me check. Or let's make a new file. Oh, let's rename it ABC, for example. Now I'll say put ABC. So now if I do ls in FTP server, it shows ABC file here. Now if I do ls over here, it shows ABC file here too. So it's pretty much like client server, kind of thing. Now let's talk about how Windows can access that server. Okay, it's a Linux server, how Windows can put stuff in there. So there is a software usually people use called FileZilla. Okay, for example, this is my Windows PC. The IP address is going to be 192.168.86.76, and username is root. Password is, I'm going to type port 21. Click connect. Let's see if it does. Okay, it did not connect. Okay, I don't know why it's not. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. SFTP.
It could be 20 or 21 or.
No, S is 21 and FTP is 20. Let's do 20.
Sorry, I'm gonna ask you. So the S makes it different how? The S is you said what it
Secure.
stands for? Secure.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not working. The client is not working, but it should work though. My Windows might have different IP address that is not in the range of these servers' IP address. So I just connected two Linux servers with each other in order, and they have the communication with each other. Okay. You won't be asked to connect Windows to the Linux server. It was just saying one thing I wanted to show you. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. So NFS server, the only that difference was it's basically
It's basically
not that.
You go ahead.
I was gonna say it doesn't give you access to the hard drive. It just right.
No, NFS is basically gives you direct access to another server's hard drive, and it acts like a local hard drive for your server. But FTP is not a permanent mount on your server. It is like a kind of file share. You temporarily log in, download stuff, upload stuff. That's it. Okay.
Then you log out. But
Yeah.
NFS, it could be like a
It's mounted.
like a flash drive. Okay.
Yeah. Guys, one thing, I think I might have to go because I have some guests. I have not attended them since evening, and so I think we are almost anyways to the top of the hour now, anyways.